Moshe looked back, he was in the sea, and Hashem said, put your arm over the Yam Suf, go like this, and the sea is going to fall. The sea is going to fall into Mitzrayim. Why couldn't the Yam Suf just do it itself? Why does Moshe have to be the person who's like initiating the sea to fall?
There has to be a physical aspect to it, also with the Makov.
Oh, you're saying it has to be a physical... Okay, that's a good point. So that's one answer. Number two, a second answer, it's a good answer actually. Second answer is that Moshe had to do it because the sea did not know that it had to do it. What does that mean? Hashem wanted a dual miracle. He wanted to make the Egyptians drown in one side of the sea while making the Jews walking on dry land on the other side of the sea. So while he was destroying the Egyptians on the left side, he was saving the Jews on the right side, simultaneously bringing about salvation during destruction.
The Jews weren't out of the water before it closed?
That's what the Zera Shimshon says the Chidush is. The Chidush was, it was such a great miracle that Hashem was able with one hand, we say it every day, Yeminicha amunai nederi b'koach, Yeminicha Hashem tiratz oyev. What does that mean? Hashem uplifts the Jews and glorifies them with his right hand, and with the exact same hand, he's crushing the enemy. How could that be? How could you do two actions with one hand? Hashem was able to do so. Hashem was able to make the sea fall at this part, but yet stand at this part. And that was the whole chidush of the miracle. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu, the sea thought like everyone else thought. Okay, the Jews left, this is what I thought. Jews left, then sea fell.
That's
right?
what the movie showed.
That's what the movie said. That's what the movie, that's what everyone's, the cartoon show, the picture books, the Jews leaving, sea falling, after the Jews are gone. But that was not it. The Jews were inside the sea, and the Egyptians were inside the sea. The Jews were being saved, and the Egyptians were being destroyed. And the sea didn't know this. Moshe was like, this is what Hashem wants you to do. And he waves his hand over the sea and says, fall right now. The sea was confused. Why am I falling? Because Hashem wants to do a dual miracle. This dual miracle showed that Hashem wants to increase. When Hashem does something, he wants to do it the most fabulous way possible. And he wanted to make this nest astounding.
But I thought
yes,
miracles that happen aren't done in like such a loud fashion most of the time. Hashem wants to do it l'fi hateva.
So you're right. Nowadays, everything is done l'fi hateva. Because Hashem doesn't do miracles all the time. If miracles are always happening in every generation, it's not something special. Hashem made all the miracles happen. Main miracles happen during Yetziat Mitzrayim, when the Jews left Egypt. And why do we always say Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim all the time? Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim. What are we doing that for? To remember Hashem does miracles. He's not going to constantly do it, but we always have to remember Hashem could go against nature. Hashem has the ability to do so, and that's why we always have to remember Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's a good question. So now that we got to here, we could understand why it's hinted in the pasuk that the sea filled its condition, its promise to Hashem, when it closed the sea. Because when was the peak of the miracle? The peak of the miracle wasn't when the sea split. It was when the sea started to drown the Egyptians while splitting for the Jews. And that's why it says the word le'etano at the end of the pasuk. And now that we get to this, we can understand one of the psukim in Az Yashir. It says, Shamehu amim Yirgazun chil achaz yoshevei pelashet. It says the nations of the world were trembling. They heard, you know what Hashem did for the Jews at the Yam Suf? He split the sea for them, he drowned the Egyptians, and every single nation in the world was like this. They were all shaking. Now why were they shaking from Az Yashir, from the whole entire Kriyat Yam Suf? You know what Hashem has been doing to Egypt for the past year? He's been giving them blood, frogs, lice, wild animals, death to the firstborns, darkness, hail falling from the sky. You know how many things they did? But the non-Jews were not afraid about that. The one thing that scared them was the nes of Kriyat Yam Suf. Why was that the thing that hit them the most? So we could explain like this. Because Kriyat Yam Suf happened even though Hashem didn't promise the Jews it would happen. Everyone knew the Jews are leaving Egypt one day. Hashem made a promise to Abraham. He's going to redeem the Jews. The Jews are going to come out, and he's going to beat up that nation that enslaved them. Everybody knew this. So when they saw Egypt being beat up, they're like, okay, Egypt's getting its share. It's getting what they did. But when they saw that even though the Jews were sinners, even though they were people who were not so good, and Hashem is still performing for them such miracles, they said, we don't have a chance. They're gonna march into Israel, and they're gonna conquer us, they're gonna take us over, and they're gonna wipe us out. They were thinking, maybe the Jews are gonna sin by the time they get there, and we're gonna have a chance. But they saw Hashem. What a hand, the right hand of Hashem split the sea while destroying the Egyptians. Miracles that Hashem is doing for the Jews, even though they're sinners, we have no chance. Hashem loves his kids. Yeah.
How did the other nations know that this happened? There's no...
Everybody, you know what the proof is? How did Yitro hear? Yitro was in Midian. Midian was very far away.
Was the water split everywhere? All bodies of water?
No. Actually, I did hear that.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But I'm not sure. But everybody figured about this. This was like on the news everywhere. Everyone's saying, did you hear what the Jews... And remember, this was happening for a full year. Egypt was being hit by plague after plague after plague after plague. 1 month, like we learned last time. Every month a new plague. And it was 12 months. So everybody already knew Egypt was going... Everyone knew already Egypt's going through problems. Now they heard Egypt gets wiped out, that's it. But why did this scare them the most? Because they thought they had a chance. Maybe the Jews are going to sin. But they saw, no, Hashem is still going to save us. Even though we're not doing the right things, we should all start doing the right things. But Hashem is still going to bring about Mashiach. He's still going to save us. He's still going to destroy the nations. And that's why when Shamua Mimir Gazun Chil Achaz, the nations heard and they trembled. Why? Because they saw Hashem loves the Jews so much. So Bezrat Hashem, we're going to...
Did the whole population get wiped out?
What do you mean Amalek?
Amalek came and got them afterwards. How come they weren't
Amalek?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Why were they not scared?
They were scared.
But they still went after.
them. They took away the fear from everybody.
Yeah.
That was their sin. So Bezrat Hashem, we'll be able to see the days of Mashiach, see Hashem destroy the nations, and we'll be able to be like the Jews at the time of Kriyat Yam Suf, up above, with no one bothering us. Baruch Adonai L'olam, amen v'amen.